Let's get this running. So welcome to Train and Trade. We're going to be live here every day starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can join Tom's free Telegram channel, dtitrader.com/Telegram, for updated information and for little hints about the market. This morning, the Magic 5 included among them NVIDIA, which has moved up to 189.11 last traded. And Tom was looking for a move on that above 187.55. AMD, Apple, QQQ, and Intel also making the list this morning with a pivot number at 68.45. We've got a lot more information that showed up in that Telegram channel this morning. Make sure you're joining along and paying attention. Also, join Tom's free YouTube. You can join Tom's YouTube channel at dtitrader.com/YouTube. We have a live presentation ongoing in there right now. I want to say good morning to our YouTube group. And if you're going to be following along, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Lets us know that you're there and we appreciate it. Also, feel free to participate in the chat room live during this presentation. We will be talking about markets, so I do have to say this. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone will be responsible for all trading decisions you make. Make sure you make them in accordance with your own financial situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and as always, we want to encourage you to consider risk whenever making a trade. So let's talk about some of the news affecting the market this morning. First of all, crude is the big deal. Opened at 102 last night after closing at 95.63 on Friday. So a bit of an adjustment there. Yeah, and we've got a few things going on. The US 100 not quite as happy as the SPX. Yeah, the Goldman reporting this morning gave a little bit of a shakeup to the Dow and to some of those other markets. So certainly worth looking at. The S&P 500 shows you a more broadened view of the market, which is not quite as shaken, but still pretty active. When we take a look at our news items here, Iran is, of course, the biggest news item and has been for a while and will likely to continue to be. We'll keep it on the list as long as that is a geopolitical issue, which may mean it never leaves the list, but obviously some things start to become a little bit more important. On the economic side, Tuesday morning is a big deal for the market with earnings, specifically financial earnings, coming from JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citi, Wells Fargo, and others. In addition, you get J&J, so that's going to be interesting. Also, core PPI on Tuesday. So I would highly recommend anybody wanting to pay attention to markets and how they move. The next 24 hours are going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to tomorrow's Train and Trade. Now, the key levels to pay attention to in the market today, the current high of April, the high of the month, is at 68.88. Friday's close was 68.63.75, and we've gotten a little bit past that today. As I mentioned, the market climbed all the way up to 68.68 quarter, so sort of reconnected the dots there. This week's open was at 67.80, so we've already seen a very active market. The FTD high all the way back at 66.61 with the month open at 65.62. Let's push on a little bit here. And this is the part where we ask for Tom's opinion. And it doesn't look like Tom has, well, here he comes. I see that camera turning on. Mr. Busby, how are you this morning?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good, Chuck. If you were there last night, you heard me say that I sort of had an inclination to believe that this market was going to rally, not sell off. And I gave everybody a all bets off number of 67.30. And a pivot number this morning was 68.45. Once we broke that, market's been solid. The other thing I said, it wouldn't surprise me. I thought this was a brilliant move to blockade. I thought of a lot of different things. Whoever gave him that recommendation should get a promotion, in my opinion. He just attacked the problem differently than I thought. I was all focused on taking it over, but there's another way to take things over. You just stop it from being an economic engine of Iran. So I think that was positive. And I pointed out, I told people last night that I was going to short crude oil, and I did at 105, and I said my target would be about 102. It went below that this morning. I took my futures down, and now I'm flat on that, but I thought it was a good trade to tell people about. And then today, we're sitting here at 68.60. I think the way this is going to play out is that you've got to start thinking a little bit longer term. And I've been telling people last week, hey folks, I really like Intel. I really like Intel. I did everything but grab their mouse and say, get some of it. And now I've got a full boat of Intel to hold for 2 days. One's December the 15th. That's a long-term hold. The other one is a price action up at 75. I'd take some off at 75. So simple, straight, great trade. Was on it all last week, and now it's in my category of, hey, looks pretty good. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking, Chuck. And what I'd like to do is break from here and go to a live market, then come back to our slides and wrap up. By the way, folks, I'm doing a three-part series on making money. Today, we're going to focus on the 10 tickers I gave you last night when we come back. But let's look at the overall market. Tomorrow, we're going to focus on my Magic 5 and TNT and how to judge the stocks to be in this week. That'd be the goal tomorrow. That'd be part 2. So I told Jonathan this morning, let's just stay with a 3-part series on making money. How's that sound, everybody? Okay, good. All right, the first thing we're going to do is define D-menu. We'll put a price at 47.30 is my all bets off number. That's when I have to go back and revisit what I'm saying. 47, I said 47, 67.30. My day's pivot number 68.45. Chuck told us our target was 68.88. And he didn't say those exact words, but he did say that was last week's high, which would make logical sense for the market to go up and test 68.88. The next stock I want to look at, one of my favorites, is NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA, let's look at a daily chart there, and we'll come back and look at it. You know, NVIDIA has been correcting for about 3 months. It's getting ready to, what I have found in my history of trading is that stocks have become, I guess, a centerpiece of everybody looking at the market come back in play. I think NVIDIA is coming back in play. If you look at that low, it's about 163, 164, up here at 189. Short-term target would be about 195, but NVIDIA's having a heck of a day today. If you go to the 30-minute, you come in this morning and look at NVIDIA. By the way, it was in my Magic 5 also. We're in TNT. You had heads up, I was looking at NVIDIA. I think I gave you a pivot number this morning. What was the pivot number I gave you in TNT? I forgot what it was, but whatever it was, you made money off of it. You took it. NVIDIA this morning. That was my pivot number for the E-mini was that, but as a Magic 5, I put NVIDIA in. I gave a price action that said, this is something that I think you'll look at. What's that number, Chuck?
187.55. 187.55.
Well, I'd say making $2 this soon in the day is not a bad day. I bought a Delta 30 option. The thing's at 545 now, and I paid 4 for it, so that's a good trade. That's on NVIDIA. The other stock that's been shouting buy, I already mentioned, is Intel. You put Intel in there. I have maxed out on Intel, and it's got resistance at 65 to 67. I got an over allotment of it, and I have to make a decision if I want to take it back down to my long-term allotment by the end of the day. But man, I'm looking good there too. Intel. That's got to make people happy. Who took the Intel trade? Type your name in there and say, Tom, I listened to you. I've heard you before, and I bought Intel. Who did that? Don't be shy if you did it. Carol did. Carol's up to buy it. Neil bought Delta 30s. Walter did. Jim bought both Intel and NVIDIA. He listens good. All right. A lot of successful people typing in there. Makes me feel good. You are listening and doing these what I call plays that make you money. All right. If we look at those two, those right now is the theme. I got a new one I want to look at. The old one. If y'all, who was that Sawgrass last year? Y'all remember when I told you, hey, I like the stock CoreWeave, CRWV, put CoreWeave in there. And Jonathan, you need to add this to a 3-day algo, CoreWeave. It's back in play. Obviously got above 100. I say it goes to 110. It did that today. Now we're in new territory once we close above that red high over there. Jonathan, what's that red high over there? I can't see it from here, but that red high. Yeah.
That's about 114.5.
So about 115, we're in a new ball game. So CoreWeave is one that has some really fascinating options. Expensive, but they do move. Okay. And I want to show you those because that's where I had early signals this week. We'll track in the day and see if we can do some work with those three. That's Intel, NVIDIA, and CoreWeave. Let me see if I got anything else. That's it for right now. That's it. Okay, let's go back to our slide program. Okay, this is day one. My 3-day plan to make money with options. Let's focus on the 10 tickers. And Jonathan, tell me where those tickers are right now. Obviously, the longs come into play. Not there yet. I got 615.55, correct?
That's your trigger, and the QQQ is at 612.
Yeah, so we're a little bit away from that. How about the spot? Where's the trigger on it?
Trigger was 683.55. Current price 679.
All right, TQQ, it's 52.55, not there yet. TLT 88.56. AMD, I've got it at 250.55, and SLV at 70.55. So nothing is hit now. So what you do is what I do, Jonathan does this for me, he will set alerts at these prices, and then he will let me know if they hit these prices, and then I'll go immediately into a 30-day plus option, Delta 30. That's the way you make money on this one. Here's the guidelines. Jonathan, go through this for him, please. You gotta unmute
Does
yourself.
everybody know how to set alert on your trading platform? Let's use Tasty Trade here as one example, and as a reminder, QQQ 615.55. Over on Tasty Trade, if you click the arrow pointing to the left at the top right of your platform, this is on the desktop platform, might be a little different on the web, but if you click that top left arrow, a window opens up. It'll probably be on the analysis tab, as my guess, or overview tab by default. And you want to click on the little bell along the vertical column, vertical menu there. When you do that, you probably won't have any alerts here on the bottom portion, but you'll have a top portion that lets you set an alert. So the QQQ trigger was 615.55 to the upside. I usually go 1 penny less on this platform. So 615.54 last greater than 615.54, create the alert, and it's right there at the top row. There was also less than 574.40. I'll do 574.41 and change this to less than, create alert. Now they're both there. So just as a reminder, if you're just looking at the option chain for QQQ, click that top arrow pointing to the left, make sure that you're on the alarm bell, and then you can get it going from there. Any questions on that? Now the next alert was on SPY. I'll show you over on Thinkorswim. So you're on the option chain, or you could be on a chart, all the same. Just simply right click on the price. Anywhere there's a price listed, like at the top here, the big 680 number on SPY, right click on that. If you're on a chart, you could just right click on the chart and get the same menu or very similar menu. Here's create alert right inside that menu. And you can easily set your alert from there. All right. 683.55. Mark at or above. That's all good. And there you go. So right click on the price up top. Click create alert. I'll set the lower one now at or below 647.40. Create alert. And now your two alerts are set. Any questions on that? You'll find those alerts, by the way, on the Market Watch tab across the top of your platform. If you go to Market Watch and then the second row of tabs, you click on alerts. It's pretty clear there. So that's how you set alerts. Tom, I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. So the idea is we give you such great ideas and stuff. We wanted to take Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week and go through these kind of details to make sure everybody realizes just how valuable this is. Okay. This is making money. If you learn the art of trading, we call it. Making money on Monday, and tomorrow will be making money on Tuesday. But anyway, after you get your alert set, you're ready to go. Alert goes off. Go find a Delta 30 option that fits the criteria, and we do it. Okay, that's the beautiful thing about it. Now, what is Delta and how do you use it? Delta measures how much an option will move for every dollar the underlying moves. So therefore, if we go in at 615.55 and you have a $5 movement, On an option you buy that's Delta 30, it is going to go up $1.50, 30 cents per point. Simple, but that's basic math. $5 up for my breakout number, 615.55, would take you, whatever you pay at Delta 30 will go up $1.50. Everybody understand that concept? Now let's go, Jonathan, if we can, to a 30-day option on the QQQ. Use that as an example and showing how to use this and set it up.
Yeah, so first thing you'll have to do is add Delta to your trading platform.
You might need showing how to do that.
That's why I mentioned it and what I'm about to show, absolutely. This is tastytrade. You can see across the top of the, I guess we're doing calls as an example on this one. So across the top of the call side, left side of the option chain, you have a last traded price marked here. There's a little dot out to the left of it. Open, little dot, high, dot. Then you have bid and ask. These two over here, the bid and the asking price, you cannot change those. All right. But any one that has a dot out to the left of it on this platform, you can change. So I'm just going to click on the high here, and from the list, you'll find Delta. See it at the top of the screen, Delta. And now we've got Delta as a data point. And if we go 30 days out, May 15th is 32 days, Tom. Look down the Delta column. Here's our 30 Delta option. It looks like the 631 call, which is about $6.15. Now over on Thinkorswim, the way you add Delta is, or let's say the simplest way, you're on the option chain, click the drop down here that says last price, net change, and etc. Click on that, scroll over or down to Delta, Gamma, Theta, Vega. You could do a custom column set, but it's simple enough just to do Delta, Gamma, Theta, Vega. Now that's your data point set. Go to your expiration date, in this case, May 15th, and then look down the Delta column till you find Delta 30. Might have to scroll ways like I'm scrolling here. And there it is, that 632 call. Looks like Delta market's moved up a little bit, so the 30 Delta is now the 632 instead of 631. Current price $5.80. We are live on YouTube, recording, sure are. So any questions on how to add Delta to your platform and how to go find a 30 Delta option?
Yeah, just for your information, we try to record everything for you. It's rare exception if we don't record information. I want you to learn this stuff. It makes my job a lot easier. For example, now you've got a video on the 10 ticker, which is our focus today.
We can focus in now on the reference bar timing to help with your entries and exits. And if you're brand new to reference bars, don't know what that means, there are 7 times throughout the day when key markets around the world either open or close, or just at important time for news, perhaps. But here they are. You got your main 4 reference bars that separate the 24-hour market into 4 time segments: Asia, Europe, US morning, and Europe or US afternoon. Then you have 3 extra reference bars X, Y, and Z at very critical times. And we have a few reference bar insights I'm going to go to next. But if you need to take a picture of this, go ahead and do so.
And remember, the 130 to 2 RB4 reference bar, we were able in a live market close to 90% accuracy using that reference bar alone for our live trading that we charge a pretty penny to be in. So that's how important these bars are, but we spend a lot of time on RB4. Even during this market turmoil period, that was just exceptional trading.
Yeah, and we did. That was a unique class that I wouldn't say that anything we've ever done before going at RB4 time. We've done the morning reference bar quite a bit over the years, but that was fun.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we'd focused on that. I thought it'd be good for live trading to do it. So we did it in the afternoon, 1:30 to 2. That is now suspended until the future because we finished up our obligation at the end of March. And it sure is nice knowing that we're not tied up every day at that time. I mean, we did it for the first 3 months of the last quarter. That was my intention, but everybody was so gung ho, they wanted me to keep doing it. I did another quarter, and about halfway through the quarter, I go, why did I agree to this? But we learned a lot, we made a lot of money together. That's why we did it.
Yeah, and you can learn a lot of insights just from watching the market around reference bar times. Here's a few that we've got listed for you. One, you should never enter a new trade right before another reference bar starts. So we just hit 11:30 Eastern time. That's the start of Genesis. And so you won't see Tom saying, hey, let's buy this right now because the Genesis reference bar just started. And so what we might do though, if we're close to a target on a trade right before a new reference bar time, we might book a profit early because every new reference bar brings the possibility of a shift in the market, a shift in the tone. And one of the biggest, we see an increased likelihood most days comes from our Genesis insight. One of the biggest insights here is from Genesis. Genesis reference bar is at the start of European close from 11:30 is when Europe closes. So that 11:30 to 12 p.m. 30-minute time frame is what we call the Genesis reference bar. With the European markets closed down, like they are now, U.S. has all the influence on the markets. And we can see about the insight is about 4 out of 5 days. If the market's at its high, it tends to top out, which is the case today. So we'll be looking for that. Or if the market's at its low, the market tends to bottom out at this time frame. So that's what we're watching today. Most of the days, like on a day like today where we're at the highs, most of the days the enthusiasm to the upside will subside. But we can have a continuation day if we see the market make another new high. That's what we call a continuation day, and the odds of a increased further rally will be in place. We're about 100 points off the low. If we make the range of today's market is about 100 points. If we make a new high, chances are they'll try to fulfill the 130 point range of what the current ATR is. So just to give you a little bit of information there, but the insight, very, very important. Market tends to find the top or bottom 4 out of 5 days around the Genesis time frame. So that's, again, very important to trading intraday with reference bars. And of course, a big part of trading, Tom, is knowing when you're wrong, and you've got excellent ways to talk about that and keep an idea of what's going on. The other side of the reference bar is the closest point. So if you get long above a reference bar, you don't want the market to turn around and go below that reference bar. Or if you get short below a reference bar, you don't want the market to flip around and go above that reference bar. That's your first opportunity to say, hey, the price action is telling me I'm wrong. And then a little bit bigger focus is if you're bullish, if you're making a bullish trade intraday, you definitely don't want the market to turn around and make a new low on the day. Or if you're bearish, on a trade during the day. You definitely don't want the market to turn around and make a new high on the day. So 3 simple points here to track your trade and decide, the first choice is obviously, am I making money? You hear Tom say that all the time. And one thing to do when you're looking at your trade is ask yourself, are you making money or are you not making money? But if you want a price point in the market, these 3 here are very good. The other side of the reference bar, or a new high or a new low on the day, will give you a lot of information about whether you're on the right side of the market or on the wrong side of the market. So we kept it concise, I think, Tom, and focused in on several insights.
Yeah, I think everybody, y'all like what we're doing here over the next 3 days. This plan, that way you got, it connects each day to what we're trying to get across. And it's really quite valuable to give it to you, but I'd rather you learn it. You can get in some of the programs. Speaking of that, I think that last night we had a big reacquaintance with T-Buzz All-Stars. And last night, I realized just how valuable it is for me to do this. It's been a long time since I talked about it. And I said, Adam, let's do an entry-level cost of it, because I'm going to review something that I first taught them 12 years ago when we started this program, our granddaddy of all programs. And I said, I'm going to teach them something that, because we're getting in that stage of the market where you should be making money now. The hard part's been over. You lasted this long through the market turmoil stage. As the VIX comes down, it touched 20 last week. The VIX opened this morning at 2145. It's currently 2037. The VIX is graduating down, okay? And because of that, it's time to start thinking a little bit longer term here. And I've got a technique I'm going to teach tomorrow here. It's been worth a fortune to people it's been with. I've had people in this program. I think Todd said he joined on the first day I offered. I can tell you, he paid $4,500 to be there. We raised it the next year to over $5,500, and I think the price is really respectably low right now. Adam's got an introductory rate for you, and I think you're going to love being there. What you're going to learn, especially if you just come in now and join. So the crown jewel, this is where I find my stock of the week. I have all the stocks. What I plan to do with options and stocks during the week, I do it on Tuesday. There's a reason I do it on Tuesday, because I want to make sure everybody's in sync. Because on Tuesday, I have information that I don't have today, which is Monday. And that is what do we do? Which stocks held up? Which stocks have a trend going or a trend change? I can recognize it after the day's trading, and I always schedule it on Tuesday. Now, tomorrow we're going to meet at 10:30. And we're going to have a high probability setup, and it's easy to remember. Be there at 10:30, and I'll give you the trade of the week. And it really will add some value to you if you join me. And my goal is everybody tell me on meeting number 2, you got a scholarship. We'll take advantage of what the market creates, and the opportunities are there. I'll show you how to do that phase of training. $97. If you can't afford that, then I just don't know. DTItrader.com/TBuzz. Get signed up. He's got a longer version. He'll play last night's planning session, I think, for you. But any questions about this? Now, tomorrow we'll turn back, making money on Tuesday. Be number 2, we're going to focus on the Magic 5 and stocks that are actually set up. By that time, we'll probably already have one of those stocks in our account and be able to talk about how good we do it. John says, don't be penny wise and pound foolish on this one. Frank, our schedule for the week was not in the slides last night. I can give it to you. We'll type it and try to put it into tomorrow's train and trade. But our schedule is today, we're here at 11 o'clock for train and trade. Tonight, we'll meet at, Jonathan, let's meet at 8 o'clock tonight. Give us enough break to get there at 8 tonight, okay?
Okay.
Tuesday, we'll do connected dots, 11 o'clock train and trade. Wednesday, we got a 10 a.m. live trading Wednesday, this Wednesday. 11 train and trade, midweek market update that night. Thursday, train and trade only, unless I call a flash meeting. Friday, we have the 11 o'clock train and trade, and we have our advanced pocket puts. Actually advanced pocket puts and calls, because I came up with a way to generate an ongoing pocket trade for you inside your account. We did the setup, the tape's ready for you. If you want to get it, review it and be ready to go this Friday. All right, let's play the tape. If nobody's got any questions, I hope I got all of them answered. Thank you for being here. Tell your friends, we got to have numbers for me to keep doing this. Got to have numbers. I can't give all this good information out for free like this. I'll focus on those that are willing to pay and do it. I'm giving people a chance to see what we do during this train and trade. Quite a commitment we're making as a team. We got Chuck here, Jonathan here. Participate, folks. Don't be a watcher.